This is it, the final 72 holes of the PGA Tour season. 30 players, one FedEx Cup, and for the first time in this format, everybody starts even. No head start, no 10 under advantage, no excuses. Scotty is the standard, Wyndham's the hottest player in the playoffs. Rory has won this thing 3 times, Cantlay surgeon, Xander owns Eastlake. Somewhere in that 30-man field, there's value hiding. Tonight we break down Eastlake, the weather, the winning trends, the course history, the comp courses, the player fits, and the guys who made the short list before the final card goes up tomorrow morning. 30 guys, 1 cup. Let's talk some golf, find an edge, have some fun, come for the bets, stay for the hang. What's happening, everybody? Welcome into Tee to Green, the golf series here on Off the Hook. Sports talk that pays off, and Tommy Trends, as always. The executive producers are roaming around here somewhere. Mookie and Nash, they have absolutely no opinion on Eastlake. They don't give a shit about Bermuda greens. They don't care about proximity from 200 plus. They don't care that Patrick Cantlay gained 13 strokes Tee to Green last week. They care about exactly 3 things: treats, walkie time, and whether I'm done talking yet. But somehow, they still run this entire circus. And this entire circus is powered by Picket. If you're new here, do us a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on X at OTH Sports Pod. Every subscription, every follow, every share, it helps us keep growing this thing the right way. And if this is your first Tee to Green, look, this isn't just, here's a 5 picks, here's a golf show, see you later, good night. What we do here is we build this tournament and every tournament from the ground up. So we give you the golf course, the weather, the stats, the trends, the player profiles, and then we figure out where the hell the betting edge might actually be. So tonight, we're going to do it one last time for the PGA Tour season. Eastlake, 30 players, 72 holes, no cut, everybody starts at even par, and the winner walks away with the Tour Championship, the FedEx Cup bragging rights, and $10 million. So yeah, I'd say there's a little something on the line this week. And just a reminder, the final card will go up tomorrow on X at OTH Sports Pod and on Picket. And so we're going to give you some leans, the guys who fit the course, the markets I'm shopping, the numbers I'm watching. And then, like I said, the final card will be posted tomorrow on X and on Picket. So we're going to figure out tonight who's built for Eastlake, who the numbers like, who the history likes, and who might actually be worth betting. All right? So let's tee it up one last time at Eastlake Golf Club. And before we get into Eastlake, we have to set the table here because we started the FedEx Cup playoffs with 70 players, and then we went to Belle Reve with 50 for the BMW Championship, and now 30 guys, 1 cup. If you know, you know. But seriously, this is it. 72 holes left in the PGA Tour season. And then we have the President's Cup. But really, this is it. This is everything that they're playing for. So Sunday night comes, we will have a FedEx Cup champion, and we'll quickly recap the BMW Championship, and then we'll roll right into Eastlake Golf Club. So Wyndham Clark, Sunday, he went into Sunday's final round at Belle Reve with a 5-shot lead. Rory McIlroy erased almost all of it. Wyndham Clark just looked all out of sorts. He even said it after he was done. He said he just fell off. He just felt like he wasn't there, and just things just weren't in sync. He looked a mess. And he thought he was just going to do the ultimate choke job and blow the 5-shot lead, which he almost did. And Rory did get within 1 heading into that par 5 17th, and then, well, Rory made the mistake, hit a bogey. Clark makes birdie. Wyndham closes the tournament with 3 straight birdies to win 17 under. And it just wasn't another trophy for Wyndham Clark. This was Clark's 3rd win of the season, one of those wins being the U.S. Open at Shinnecock. And now he adds the FedEx Cup playoff event to his trophy case. So, look, whether anybody wants to admit it or not, Wyndham Clark squarely is in the conversation for Player of the Year. I mean, how can he not be? Then you got Patrick Cantlay. Now, if you look at Patrick Cantlay, he's had an up and down year, but historically, Patrick Cantlay has done well in the FedEx Cup playoffs, especially the BMW Championships, no matter where they're played. Now, Cantlay quietly finished second. He made a little bit of a charge. Rory finished third. Gary Woodland was right there. Chris Goddard, Colin Morikawa, all tied for fourth. And look, Patrick Cantlay really needed a good week last week. He came into Belle Reve, 43rd in the FedEx Cup, finished runner-up, and jumped all the way into Eastlake. Remember, Cantlay won the FedEx Cup here in 2021. And after Belle Reve, Cantlay said he loves the golf course at Eastlake and his game is trending. And listen, this matters for Cantlay. So don't count him out. And then, look, probably the biggest, well, in my opinion, probably the best story on the PGA Tour this season is Gary Woodland and his comeback. And just what a great story. I mean, this has like a Netflix documentary all over it. I don't know, does ESPN even do 30 for 30s anymore? Probably not, but they probably should. But Gary Woodland would be great to do a 30 for 30 or some type of documentary on. But look, Gary Woodland, just one of the best stories in golf in this whole season. And look, he started the week outside the top 30, finished tied for fourth, and he punched his ticket to Eastlake for the first time since 2019. And then you got Bobby McIntyre. He played his way in, closing out Sunday with a 65. Ryan Fox grabbed that final spot. Now, the guys who fell out, Ricky Fowler, Bud Colley, Kurt Kitayama. So 30 guys, that's all that's left. And let's talk about Scotty Scheffler. Bad week for Scheffler. I mean, still the standard though, right? And he finished tied for 12th, which for anybody, that'd be pretty damn good. But for Scheffler, it's an off week, right? And, you know, for Scott, it's like, what the hell happened? And then you find out after the tournament that he was dealing with fucking hand, foot, and mouth disease, blisters on his hands, which now you can imagine you got fucking blisters on your hands. That's really not good for hitting a golf club, swinging a golf club, right? You can't grip the club. Now he says he's about 95% healthy, but then I guess the blisters are gone. So even with a bad week, Scotty Scheffler, still the guy, still the number one golfer, still the FedEx Cup leader, and coming into this week in Atlanta. And his Eastlake history, 4 top fives and 6 trips, including that win in 2024. He's opened with a 65 or better in 3 of his last 4 tour championship appearances. So if you're trying to beat Scheffler this week, you better bring your best shit, right? But listen, this is where I guess, look, the PGA Tour, since Jay Monahan stepped aside and Brian Rolapp has come on board, he's done a lot of good things. And one of the things that they need to clean up, especially when the PGA Tour runs the PGA Bets stream as an alternate stream, right, on ESPN Plus or Hulu, wherever the fuck you're watching it. And they talk about betting just like any other sporting event. Listen, if you're going to have a specific stream dedicated to betting throughout the entire tournament every week, you really should come out with a fucking injury report. I mean, people are putting money on these guys, and then you find out after the tournament, Scheffler's got hand, foot, and mouth disease, for fuck's sake. What are we doing? You got to have an injury report. I mean, this got to come out. This didn't just pop up, right? I mean, he said he was sick the whole time. So, PGA Tour, while you're fixing shit, you need to fix the injury report and at least have one next year. Because I feel like, especially for us degenerate bettors, we need to know what the fuck's going on with these guys. And it explains why. I mean, now Scheffler, give him credit, he finished 12th with hand, foot, and mouth disease. Look, if Scotty Scheffler is still finishing 12th with hand, foot, and mouth disease, holy shit. I mean, I don't know. It's just amazing what that guy is doing. But a little bit of a change this year for this event. So no more starting strokes, right? So now this is really the biggest thing that y'all need to understand before placing one bet this week. There is, in years past, they used to have these staggered starts. So no more staggered starts. No 10 under head start. No 8 under head start. No FedEx Cup points advantage once Thursday starts. Everybody's starting at even par, all 30 players, same starting line, 72 holes, no cut. So whoever shoots the lowest score over 72 holes is a winner and win the Tour Championship, win the FedEx Cup, the $10 million, and good. I like that. I hated watching this event in years past, and somebody standing on the first tee on Thursday already 10 shots under without even swinging the fucking club and hitting the golf shot. So to me, this is cleaner. If you earned your way into the field as the final 30, now look, it should be on an even playing field, and everybody go out and give it your best for 4 rounds. So I like this cleaner approach. Everybody's even. So, and again, the official purse, a total of $40 million. And of course, the winner getting $10 million. So we got 30 players, 72 holes, no cut. It's a par 70. 74.40 is the yardage. So there's a lot to play for. A couple big storylines as we move into the final PGA event of the season. So the 3 guys everybody's talking about here, starting with Scheffler. Look, I mean, he's just the standard, right? He's pretty much the gold standard. 18 top 25s in 19 starts, 2 wins this season, leads the tour in greens and regulation, top 10 finishes, and scoring average. And then you got Wyndham Clark, who is arguably the hottest golfer coming into East Lake this week. 3 wins this season, U.S. Open under his belt, a FedEx Cup victory now, a FedEx Cup playoff victory under his belt, the CJ Cup Byron Nelson under his belt. I mean, so Wyndham Clark, now, even though it looked like he was going to give up a 5-stroke lead starting Sunday, got it done nonetheless, and I'd say he's probably the hottest golfer coming into this week. He's the only player in this field who finished inside the top 10 at both FedEx Cup playoff events. So this isn't just some guy who's surviving with a hot putter. Clark enters East Lake inside the top 20 in strokes gained tee to green, on his approach, around the green, and putting. So that's pretty much the complete profile for Wyndham Clark this week. So, and then you got Rory McIlroy. Even though I'm not a Rory fan, third at Belle Reve, almost took down Wyndham on Sunday. 30 career PGA Tour victories, 9 more than anybody else in this field. Won the Masters this year. Hardly played. What is this, like his 14th event that he's played? But it looks like he kind of figured it out last week. He even said last week the course fit his game a little bit better than Memphis. So now he's trying to win at East Lake and the Masters all in the same season. So, and nobody knows this event better than Rory, unfortunately. He's won the FedEx Cup event 3 times, 2016, 2019, 2022. But there's one thing that we're watching. Rory's par 5 scoring has fallen off. Now, he's making birdie or better on only a little over 50% of par 5 attempts. And that's his lowest rate since 2013. Well, maybe if you play a little bit more fucking golf, you'd have your birdie or better percentage up a little bit higher than that. So, on 17, you saw that come to bite him in the ass when he bogeyed the hole and Wyndham birdied it. So, that's something that we're going to come back to when we break down East Lake and who fits here. And then, don't forget these other guys here. Tommy Fleetwood, the defending champion, and won his first PGA Tour event here last year. Won the FedEx Cup with it. So, could Fleetwood do it again? Sure, anybody could. There's 30 guys here. That's it, right? And now if he does it again, he'd become the first player to win consecutive FedEx Cups. And then we said it, Patrick Cantlay. I mean, Cantlay is on an absolute heater. Runner-up at Belle Reve, runner-up here last year, a former champion here. He's trying to lock up a President's Cup spot. This might be the guy with the most to gain this week. And then there's Siwoo Kim. And who doesn't like Siwoo Kim, right? 5th in FedEx Cup, 11 top 10s this season. I think that's I think he leads the tour. 11 top tens. I don't know. But a hell of a season for Siwoo Kim. 3 runner-up finishes, and somehow no win, though, for Siwoo. So, I mean, he's been knocking on the door all year, right? So, and then we said the President's Cup angle, right? There's a little subplot that's running underneath this whole tournament is these President Cup spots for Medina. So the top 6 positions get finalized after Eastlake. And then the international side, well, this isn't much of a mystery for that side. The 6 internationals currently occupying those spots are the only 6 internationals in this field. But on the U.S. side here, there's still a movement available. Cantlay has something to gain. Gary Woodland, he's already a captain's assistant. But if he somehow wins this thing, does he force him to have a conversation? Absolutely. So, I mean, there's surprises and changes as well to the FedEx Cup that's coming up in 2028 with this match play shit, which we're not going to get into tonight, but we'll get into on one of the live shows and break that down a little bit. But there will be changes in 2028 now. Is it better or worse? I don't know. I haven't really digested the whole thing. I can tell you who it's not good for. Whatever the fuck happens with Live Golf, if that even is going to exist in a 2.0 format, because that whole match play thing that the PGA Tour is going to implement in 2028, well, that just pretty much took what Live Golf was, touting. They just kind of say, well, now we're going to fucking do it. So, but we're not going to talk about that shit either. It's all Eastlake and the FedEx Cup. So, that's it. 30 players, no head starts, no cut. $10 million to the winner, $40 million purse, and 72 holes. That's all. It's all we got left in golf season. But that just means that football is right around the corner. So, is it going to be Scotty? Is it Wyndham? Rory? Is Tommy Ladd? Does he run it back again? Patrick Cantlay? Is he come out of nowhere and dude's on a heater? It would not shock me if we're sitting here Sunday and Patrick Cantlay's hoisting the FedEx Cup trophy and cashing that $10 million check. So, all right, well, that's the recap. That tells us how we got here. But look, we need to figure out who's built to win here. So we're going to go and break this whole thing down and see who fits and how they're going to win here at Eastlake. And we said yardage here is 74-40. It's a par 70. So what types of shots does Eastlake demand? How do these stats actually translate? What changed with the course renovation? Right? What kind of player is going to win here? So now that we know who made it, let's talk about this course and what it's going to take to beat this course. But then how this course is going to defend itself against these 30 players. So Eastlake Golf Club just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. And I see again, 74-40 is a yardage, 30 players, no cut. It's a Andrew Green restoration. So this isn't exactly the same Eastlake that we grew up watching. So a little history on this. It's the oldest golf course in Atlanta, and obviously one of the most historic. This was Bobby Jones's home course. Originally, the property dates back to the early 1900s. Tom Bendelow laid out the first version, and then Donald Ross redesigned it in 1913. Reese Jones came back here in the 1990s, and again in 2008, and again in 2016. And now the version that we're looking at today is Andrew Green's version, and he basically said nothing is the same, not a single golf shot on this property. He used a 1949 aerial photo as a blueprint, removed a shit ton of trees, replanted every inch of turf, and redesigned all 18 greens. So when we're talking about Eastlake history, all the results still matter, but you got to understand that this course has changed a lot. So there's only 2 par 5s on this course. Now, Eastlake is the 6th longest course in the tour's rotation, and this is important because holes 1 and 14, they're normally par 5s for members. They now become extremely long par 4s for this tour event. So right away, you're taking a member-friendly layout into something that's now much more demanding. And then we look at the grass, the turf here. because this week it does matter. The fairways are the Zorro Zoysia, the greens are this Tiff Eagle Bermuda, and you got the Bermuda rough. And this rough, about 3.5 inches to 4 inches, um, up an inch from last year is what they say. So this 3.5 inch Bermuda rough, it doesn't have to look terrifying to really be terrifying. This shit you're gonna watch all weekend. It's gonna grab the club, and it's gonna penalize guys who aren't accurate off the tee and who aren't hitting out of the fairway. You're gonna see it all weekend long. It grabs the club. It's gonna fucking wrap around the hosel. So I mean, good luck with distance control if you're smacking the shit out the rough. It's gonna be a pain in the ass if you're in the rough all weekend long. And it's going to matter because the rough proximity has been one of the hardest parts of this golf course. That's really one of the ways this golf course defends itself. So the course profile's really saying that you got to control your approaches from the rough. And it's really one of the main separators here at Eastlake. So, and we said about how does this course defend itself? Well, the rough. And it also, with that Bermuda rough, this course doesn't really, it's not some tricked up monster type course with dog legs all over or blind shots or gimmicks. The course is basically laid out in front of you. And no, that doesn't mean that it's easy because it is challenging. So really the challenge here at Eastlake is, can you drive it well enough to stay out of the Bermuda rough? If you do, you can score. If you don't, like we said, this Bermuda rough, it's going to grab the club. It's going to wrap around the fucking hosel. Shit's going to come out. The balls are just going to die. And you're going to see guys losing their fucking mind if they're in the rough all weekend. And then we talk about total driving. And this is where the profile starts to come together as we build this blueprint for Eastlake Golf Club. So again, with this Bermuda rough, not only does distance matter, but accuracy matters. And that's what you want this week. You want both. You want this hybrid type version of distance and accuracy, right? So, I mean, really, driving is going to be one of the first things you look at among the key skill sets for guys who do well here. But it's the total driving leaderboard entering the week that you want to look at and how guys are playing coming into this week. So the total driving leaderboard as we come into Eastlake, your leaders include Alex Fitzpatrick, of course, Scotty Scheffler, Xander, Gary Woodland. Listen, Gary Woodland's, what is he, 42 years old, 41, something, or he's going to turn 42. Listen, Gary Woodland is still one of the longer hitters on tour and can still move the ball up and down the track. So, and you also have Cam Young, Ludwig, of course, he's always there, but he never finishes. Colin Morikawa, we'll get to him. Matt Fitzpatrick, Victor Hovland, Ryan Gerard. Pretty interesting list when you look at it. And then you want to look at the fairways and the percentage of good drives. So again, we don't just want distance here. I want guys who either hit the fairway, or if you're not going to hit the fairway, you're going to miss in a spot where you can still hit the green. And that's why this good drive percentage, it's going to matter when you start looking at the stats and the numbers. And then you want to take a guess who leads that field? Yep, Scotty Scheffler, 85, just a hair under 86% for the good drive percentage. And then you got right behind him, Alex Fitzpatrick, Russell Henley, Siwoo Kim. We said Siwoo's been knocking on the door all year. Doesn't have a win. Did you get it this week? Tom Kim, who plays slow as fuck, might play almost as slow as Patrick Cantlay. There was a video, and maybe we'll show it tomorrow when we're back on here. But I want to get through this tonight without any fucking gimmicks or videos and all that shit. Maybe I'll show it. But Tom Kim, there's I forget. I think it's Ryan Fox and Tom Kim, and how slow Kim plays compared to Ryan Fox. It's just getting ridiculous how slow these fucking guys play. And well, this is the list. I don't know if this is fucking legible if we blow this thing up, but that's the list of the 30 guys in the field this week at Eastlake. But we also say, what is it? Colin Morikawa, Matt Fitzpatrick. They're all, so you got Fleetwood, Morikawa, Matt Fitzpatrick, Alex Fitzpatrick, Russell Henley, Siwoo Kim, Tom Kim, all right behind Scheffler in this good drive percentage category / skill set. So you got to drive it far enough. You got to control your misses, and you got to manage your approach shots and keep it manageable. The real separator here, if you haven't figured it out yet, is the approach play. So the driving has to set you up for that. So the driving's got to get you in the position, and then your approach play is where this tournament is going to be won. Now, historically at this course, it has been easier to gain strokes off the tee here than on the approach play, and that's mainly because of this fucking thick-ass Bermuda rough. So the current strokes gained leaders for approach play in this field: Morikawa, Siwoo Kim, Matt Fitzpatrick, Tom Kim, Patrick Cantlay, of course Scheffler, Alex Fitzpatrick, Adam Scott, J.J. Spahn, Justin Rose. Now, also, one thing to note, the last 4 winners here were top 7 in strokes gained on their approach play during their winning week. Now, that trend is coming. We have a trend section where that trend is going to show up again, and it's going to really support this course profile. And then we also talk about, with this approach play as being the real separator this week, the 200 plus yards on your proximity, on your approach. This is really going to be one of the places where, when you look at the proximity bucket and we'll break it down in the buckets, but this 200 plus yards is really where, one thing that stood out to me as I looked at this is where I really looked at this and kind of obsessed over this proximity bucket. And this is what I really care about, is this 200 plus yards on the approach. So there's about 5 holes that are going to require approaches from more than 200 yards. And then if you look at, so if that's the case, who's the best in the field from 200 plus over their last 50 rounds? Ludwig, Matt Fitzpatrick, Cam Young, Gary Woodland, Sam Burns, Adam Scott, Tommy Fleetwood, Alex Smalley, Alex Fitzpatrick, and Hideki Matsuyama. So that list is going to matter a little bit later when we get to the player fits and who fits this course. I'm just looking here. Our boy had Wyndham last week, so good on you. I just saw the chat there. Taking Wyndham last week. That's good. Did you get him? Did you have him pre-flop before the tournament? Did you take him live? Because even if you got him after the first round or two, you still got a good number on Wyndham. But nonetheless, you cashed that Wyndham Clark ticket. So yeah, Wyndham is definitely going to be a threat this week. And I think for I think Wyndham Clark needed that, as much as it sucks to say that. I think he needed that round on Sunday. I mean, he was just all disheveled, all over the place, but he got it together, and he didn't buckle. So if he carries that over this week, he's really going to be tough to beat. I just think it's, no matter what the sport is, if you face that type of adversity and you don't buckle and you end up prevailing in that situation, oh, nice, you had him before. Good. Even better. But I just think any type of adversity like that, if you can overcome that and you can not buckle and not give up that lead, whatever the case may be, and you get it done, and you're not on your A game, and you got Rory right there and Patrick Cantlay, I mean, we said it going into these FedEx Cup playoffs. It's with the small field, it's really competitive. I mean, you're getting the best guys. So you got to be on your A game. And even though Wyndham wasn't, still got it done. So I think for him, I think that's a big confidence boost for him. And knowing that if he does get behind this week, I think I'd throw money on Wyndham Clark if he's behind. Get a good number. It just shows that he can block that out and go out and win. But the par fours here, this is really where this tournament is going to live for the most part with these par fours. And it's a par 70, so that means we're going to get 12 par fours. 9 of these are over 440. So if you're trying to win this thing, win that $10 million, you better be able to score on par fours because we said you only have 2 par fives here. And then, I'm going to give you the par 4 birdie or better leaders in this field. So here we go. Tom Kim. Of course, Scotty's on the list. Siwoo Kim, Gary Woodland, Victor Hovland, Colin Morikawa, Sam Burns, J.J. Spahn, Ryan Fox, Hideki Matsuyama. Right? And then, who's the number 1 par 4 player on tour? Scotty Scheffler. Fucking guy has hand, foot, and mouth disease last week and still finished 12th. Unfucking believable. I mean, so, even if East Lake hasn't always been the easiest venue, the setup still fits the best player in the world. And apparently, if he's got hand, foot, and mouth disease, it doesn't really matter. He can still card the top 15, top 20 finish. It's unbelievable. And then we said there's only 2 par fives. So these are, look, typically par fives is where you get your scoring in tournaments, right? But you only have 2 opportunities, which is why the par fours become even more important this week. But with only 2 par fives, you gotta make sure you're scoring here. Now both the par fives are reachable, so those 8 par 5 opportunities over 4 rounds this week, you're gonna have to cash. You're gonna have to do well. I mean, par is really no good. You got to birdie these holes because, again, small field, and you're getting the best on tour. So the course profile here says with these 2 par fives, they're going to combine to average about a half stroke under par, and they're must birdie holes essentially. So again, this is when you look at someone like Rory, he becomes interesting, right? Because normally Rory, who's playing week in and week out on tour, would absolutely destroy par fives. But what is this, his 14th event he's played? Maybe his 15th event that he's played this year? But this season, his birdie or better rate on par fives has slipped quite a lot. And you saw that. That's what cost him last week at the BMW Championship. So if he wants to win this thing, he's got to feast on these par fives. He's got to eat, right? Now, par threes. These things are fucking brutal. This is a completely different story with these par threes. All 4 par threes measure 197 or longer. So now, if you group those all together, they're the second longest set of par threes on tour. So this week, there's 2 very different tests these guys are going to face. Par fives, got to make the birdies. You got to eat. Par threes, you just got to survive these things and are hoping just to par the hole and not lose any strokes here. So again, this is where that balance is going to come in this week at East Lake. And then let's talk about this closing stretch of holes here at East Lake. The last 6 holes, this is where shit is going to get chaotic. It's going to get fun, especially if you're live betting. But you could see someone's tournament just completely go up in flames on these last 6 holes in this closing stretch of holes. Hazards, risk, water, pressure, par 3 15th, island style greens. I mean, that's going to bring it. Listen, the island style green you miss, you double bogey. And then 18 is that long par 5. Now, in the past on 18, because this is a long par 5, that usually the tees get moved up on Sunday. So that being said, if they're going to move the tees up, which they have in the past on Sunday, this is where guys can get a little extra aggressive. So you can absolutely see this tournament swing late on Sunday afternoon. So let's go to the putting surface with these Bermuda greens, this Tiff Eagle Bermuda. Shit's fast. It's grainy. When they're firm, 12 and a half, 12 and a half, well, 12 and a half, maybe 13 on the stimp meter here. And then the Bermuda putting leaders in this field over the last 50 rounds, I'm going to give it to you. Jacob Bridgman, Akshay Bhatia, Matt Fitzpatrick, Scheffler, Tom Kim, Russell Henley, Adam Scott, Victor Hovland, Sam Burns, Wyndham Clark. So, again, these guys who typically do well on Bermuda-style greens, they're going to get like a little extra check mark because we'll go through and, I don't know, I like to just check the boxes. So whatever guys check the most boxes typically make my card in some way, shape, or form. That's the whole idea of doing this. But I'm going to pay special attention to the guys who normally do well on these Bermuda-style greens because East Lake historically has been difficult in that 5 to 15 foot window for putts. So now it's Atlanta, it's summertime, it's going to be humid. So you got the humidity, the grain. You're going to see guys misread these putts all week long. You're going to sit there, be watching on TV, like, well, that's pretty simple, right? We're all going to sit there. This fucking guy, how does he miss that, right? Even though, I'll go out and 4-putt a 3-foot putt. But nonetheless, it'll look easy as we're sitting there watching it on TV in this 5 to 15 foot window. But you're going to see guys misread this shit. And it's going to flip their card upside down. So the short game is really going to be quietly important this week. Even getting around the green and scrambling, it's interesting because statistically, when you look at this course, the scrambling around the green doesn't really jump off the page, but visually, you can see why it matters, right? So you're gonna see the areas right around the green. It's going to be this closely mowed areas, right? You got the grain, you got the Bermuda rough, elevated greens, so different recovery shots. This can really be a separation point because it's going to be hard for really anyone to gain a lot around the greens here. But if somebody does and somebody's scrambling really well, then, they're going to have an advantage and could really jump out and be a separator here. So that's something to watch. So we kind of touched about the weather again. It's Atlanta, summer, it's hot, it's humid. And the weather really this week could completely change this golf course. Now, this was interesting when I looked up the weather. Atlanta has got, this is since the beginning of July, Atlanta has got about 15 inches of rain. And guess what? More rain in the forecast early. So with that being said, you're going to have greens that are going to be soft, receptive, no wind. So expect a good scoring week. And weather, it's like mid to high 80s, but humid. Then you get the thunderstorm chances, obviously, but very little wind. So, all right. So what does that mean then for the handicap as you're looking at this weather? So with that weather forecast, it basically means power is going to be a little bit more valuable here. And you're going to see some low scores if guys can take advantage of these scoring conditions because you have a soft course, the ball's not going to run into trouble as much, and then it's going to allow guys to attack the greens because the greens are more receptive, and it's going to stick. Now, it also means then you're going to get lower scores. So I think Vegas has the number around 261.5, 262, depending on what book you're using. So that's like, 18.5 under, 18 under. So, so considering that this course has gotten a fuck ton of rain, and then with this Andrew Green renovation, it makes sense that it's ideal scoring conditions this week for guys to go low as long as they can take advantage of some of the opportunities on the par fours for scoring and as well as the 2 par fives. The par threes, maybe not so much. Maybe you just want to get off the fucking hole and take the par and move on. from a scoring perspective, East Lake has averaged about 1.6 to 1.7 strokes under par per round in the last few years. Now, last year, it played even easier, which is crazy. I don't even remember what the weather was. I mean, I know it was fucking hot last year, but I'm trying to remember what, I mean, so last year, it was about, it was almost 2.2 strokes under par per round. So if you're coming in this week looking for survival golf like Oakmont or Shinnecock or Aronimink, yep, no, not going to happen. You got to make birdies. So no survival golf this week because guys are going to go low. And if you can't go low, well, you're on the outside looking in, and just light that $10 million ticket on fire because you ain't cashing it. So how do you win here at East Lake? So again, we like to build this blueprint, and what is the winning profile, and what does the ideal golfer look like? And again, these guys that we're talking about could completely shit the bed and go out and have the four worst rounds of their entire life, but it's golf. That's betting. But again, if you're looking at the ideal player profile and who checks the boxes, well, total driving, we said it. It's not just distance, it's distance and accuracy because of the Bermuda rough. And it's just going to eat the fucking shots up. It's going to wrap it around the club. It's just a mess. So you got to be, you got to have the distance, but you also have to be accurate. Strokes gained on the approach play. We said the approach play is going to be the separator here, especially the iron play, especially long iron play. When you look at that 200 plus yardage proximity bucket, because there's these long approach shots on these par fours. And with that being said, the par four scoring, you got 12 par fours. You got to score. You got to make birdies. These are your scoring opportunities because the par threes are going to be brutal. We said they're 197 or longer. And even the par fives now, again, they are, I mean, it's not like you can't convert birdie opportunities on these par fives. You just only have two of them. So again, your scoring is going to come from these par fours. And if you can't get it done in the par fours, well, you're pretty much cooked. We talked early on about the good drive percentage because, again, it's so penal here with this rough. You gotta be not only long and have the distance, but accurate and where you're landing the ball and how your approach shot's going to set up. It's really about positioning yourself off the tee. And then we said even the guys who do well with Bermuda putting, right? Soft, grainy surfaces. Obviously, avoid bogeys. I mean, that's a no-brainer. But again, with these scoring conditions, soft course, right? The humidity, these low scoring conditions means you can't give shots away. If you're constantly giving shots away every round, you're not going to do well here this weekend. It's gonna be rough. And then we said too, quietly important is the short game, right? Because of the surfaces around the green and the grass and those closely mowed areas and how that sets up. So again, kind of keep an eye on that and see maybe who's struggling there, who's doing well. Again, it said it's not the first thing on my list, but it could be a separator. If guys start to struggle, you could see guys who are scrambling, picking up strokes and making a move up the leaderboard. So, it's going to be interesting for sure. And with these ideal scoring conditions, I don't know. I'm looking forward to this. I think it's going to be. I don't think anybody's running away with this thing. I think it's going to be up for grabs as we head into Sunday. I don't think it's going to be somebody jumping out and running away with this. I think it's going to come down to Sunday afternoon. I'd even love a playoff. I'd be fucking great. But let's go a little bit deeper here with these proximity buckets before you take a look at past winners, who's played well here, and kind of finish building out this profile. Because this course is a little weird. It doesn't really funnel everyone into this like single approach distance. You get short irons, you get long irons. So that's why this approach play, like I said, it's going to be, in my mind, the separator here this week. So, and, it's this all around approach play. It's not really just, we did talk about the 200 plus bucket, if you want to call it, or range. Um, but realistically, it's all around approach play here this week than just one specific bucket. Some weeks we say, hey, it's this specific bucket on the approach play where majority of the shots are going to come. This is going to kind of be a mixed bag. So under 100 yards, toss it out. It's like 5% of the shots. And when you're looking at 100 to 125 yards, it's like 15% of the shots. Now 125 to 150. That's about 18% of the shots on approach players going to come from that 125 to 150. And then if we move up the 150 to 175, maybe like 14%. And then we move up a little bit more, 175 to 200, maybe 12, 13%. So, I mean, it's kind of important, but it's not up there. Now, this is, like I said, the 200 plus. So specifically, 200 to 225, you're going to get the 18 to maybe even 19% of the approach shots are going to be in this 200 to 225 range. And then the 225 to 250, maybe like 11%. So kind of important. 250 plus like 6%. So the two out of that list, if you're paying attention, the two ranges that really jump off the page is 100 to 150 and 200 to 250. So you're asking guys to basically hit scoring clubs and long irons, which is really, that's a good test of complete iron play. It's not just long, it's not just short, it's long and short, right? Or scoring clubs on the short side of things. So again, not to overcomplicate it, I tried to just look at this and all right, so strokes gained on approach play is really first in my mind. And then we use those proximity buckets as really the supporting evidence for that, right? Because it's really how to use your short irons and your long irons in that complete iron play. So if we take a look at past winners here, so from 2020 to 2024, this is where the Tour Championships started using they used those starting strokes. So for those years, we're looking at the raw 72 hole score, not that staggered leaderboard where you're fucking starting off with like 8 shots before you even tee off. So or 8-shot lead. So the raw low scores, 2025, Tommy Fleetwood 18 under, 2024 Morikawa 18 under, Hovland and Schauffele in 2023 were 19 under, Rory 17 under in 2022, John Rahm and Kevin Na 14 under in 2021. In 2020, Schauffele was 15 under. So that message of low scoring, pretty clear, right? You got to go low. And we just said it with the weather. Guys are going to go low with the weather and the course set up this weekend. They're going to go low. And if you're not able to, well, you're going to be on the outside looking in here. So we said it's not survival golf like a Ronamink or a U.S. Open, right? It's really, you got to score. Again, soft conditions. I mean, you're thinking, yeah, I'm thinking high. I'm thinking like 18, 19. We might even get to 20 under. If we really get the ideal weather conditions that the forecast is saying, if we're sitting here Sunday and winning score is 19, 20, 21, maybe 22 under, I wouldn't be shocked. So, minimum, I think it's high teens, like I don't know, 17 minimum under. But again, looking at how the course is set up, the conditions leading into this tournament, and then with the expected weather, 18, 19, 20, 21, maybe 22 under. But again, that's not saying the course is easy. It's just with all the rain they've got and just the receptive greens, it's going to be in their favor. If, again, it's there for the taking, but you got to convert these opportunities, and you gotta gain strokes against the field. So some of the winning trends here, as far as past performance, and this is really the traits of recent winners and what it shows, and I don't know. Trends, I don't know. Some people like trends. I like trends. Some people hate it. But again, they come back here every year. So to me, especially coming back to, of course, year after year, the trends mean more than, say, trends of the BMW championship that moves around every year. But there's guys historically who do well no matter where the BMW championship is. But at least for courses like here or Augusta, where you're playing the course every year, the trends hold more weight in my mind. But that's just how I handicap it. But 6 of the last 8 winners finished top 7 in strokes gained off the tee here. 5 of the last 8 finished top 10 in driving distance, and the last 3 winners here finished top 4 in driving accuracy. Now, the last 4 winners also finished top 7 in strokes gained on approach. All 8 finished top 15 in the proximity. All 8 finished top 7 in strokes gained putting. So that tells me a few things when I was looking at this and diving into the research here. So first, what that's telling me is you can't fake ball striking at Eastlake. We said driving and accuracy, because the driving and the approach play is going to matter. And look, even though you have this elite field, essentially the best 30 golfers in the world, in my mind, the accuracy has become the bigger separator here, especially with this Andrew Green restoration of these greens and these changes. And then second, you still got to putt, right? I mean, you could be striping shots for 4 days, but if you finish 25th out of 30 on these Bermuda greens, I'd say it's a pretty safe bet you're not holding the trophy and cashing that $10 million check. So let's kind of flip that. So we talked about the trends of the guys who won here in the past and the week and how they played that week that they won. So let's flip it and look at, well, how were these guys playing entering Eastlake? And what did that profile look like of these winning golfers here before the tournament even started? So the entering week trends, 7 of the last 8 entered top 50 in strokes gained off the tee. The last 3 winners entered top 40 in driving accuracy. 5 of the last 8 winners entered top 15 in strokes gained on their approach. 6 of the last 8 entered top 25 in scrambling. We said scrambling could be this quiet separator. 6 of the last 8 winners entered this tournament top 16 in birdie average. 7 of the last 8 winners here entered top 40 in bogey avoidance. So again, some of these are going to be less useful in this 30-man field because everybody here is fucking good. But the top 50 off the tee might not really separate much, but top 40 in driving accuracy sure could. That's going to matter. You only have a handful of guys in this field who fit that. And then the top 15 in strokes gained on approach, well, that's going to matter too. So the 2 entering this week with these trends that I kind of weighed the most when I looked at this, again, driving accuracy and approach play. So then if you combine all that, this winning profile, and then you combine the course layout, the weather, the proximity buckets, all these historical winning trends, how they played during their winning week, my, I guess, East Lake player profile would look something like this if I had to go down from, what do I have? 7 different categories. So starting with number 1, strong total driver. Again, not just long, not just accurate, it's that mix of both. Elite or near elite approach play, because we said the 100 to 150 yards, the 200 to 250, it's going to be short and long irons, right? And this elite or near elite approach play, it's really because, again, the distances are spread across their bag. And then you have a above average driving accuracy. We've been saying this Bermuda rough. You're going to see it. Even if you watch for like an hour, half hour, and you watch guys on their approach shots, and guys who are in the rough, the fucking shit's just going to grab the hosel, it's going to grab the face, the ball's going to fucking die. It's going to penalize these guys if they're not accurate off the tee. Look, can you make birdies? Can you create birdie opportunities, but can you also convert? So it's not just about creating the opportunity, it's about converting, right? Got to score. You got to avoid bogeys. Can't give shots away when you have ideal scoring conditions and the rest of the field, or majority of the field, is going to be making birdies. And then we talked about it before, the players who putt well on these Bermuda surfaces. All recent winners have putted well during the week and have, been good putters on Bermuda surfaces. In short game, you got to bring your short game if you want to survive here. That wet, grainy surrounding the greens, nasty shit, especially with the humidity, right? So, so now we can kind of go into some courses where, all right, so how does this stack up against some other courses on tour, and then kind of who does well, or who I guess has historically done well here and similar courses, right? Because we know now, we kind of gave you what this course is going to demand and then what these recent winners have done, but now we can say, well, who's basically proven that they can do it, right? Proven they can do it here. And then 3 courses we'll look at that's similar: TPC Southwind, which was the FedEx St. Jude in Memphis, and then Muirfield Village, Caves Valley. And then we'll start checking these boxes off. So again, this course is going to ask you to drive it well, hit your irons, short and long, attack the par 5s, just survive the par 3s, make enough putts on these Bermuda surfaces, and don't compound mistakes from the rough. So guys who have won here, start checking boxes. So who's really going to fit this player profile? It's going to start getting interesting as we go through and go through these check marks and who's going to fit East Lake, right? So we know, again, total driving, accuracy, approach play, good drives, Bermuda putting, and bogey avoidance, right? So now let's start going through and looking at this history and best performers here since 2020. Top 10: Xander, Wyndham Clark, Russell Henley, Victor Hovland, Tommy Fleetwood, Chris Gotterup, Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay, Rory McIlroy, and Cam Young. Not surprised Xander's number 1. I mean, it's pretty much been like his second home here. Now, I tell you what caught my eye is Wyndham number 2 and Russell Henley at 3. Now, nothing against Russell Henley, but kind of just didn't realize that. And then, you've got the names you'd expect, right? Hovland, Fleetwood, Scheffler, Cantlay, Rory, Cam. But this, this course history is going to matter a little bit more this week. Because again, it's only 30 guys, not 140, 150, 156, whatever. So you're not trying to look for some random player who made one cut 5 years ago and played 4 good rounds and came out a winner, right? You got 30 guys. So I'm looking, of these 30 guys, who's proven they can gain against this field on this golf course. And again, this East Lake experience that they have may actually matter more than usual because of this reduced field. Now, what's interesting is the last debutante to win here was Xander back in 2017. It's almost a decade that we have had a debutante win. So if you're looking for a first-timer here, they better check a lot of fucking boxes. Let's talk about TPC Southwind. And when you think about it, as a comparable course or a similar course, TPC Southwind makes a lot of sense. Similar grass, right? Similar time of the year, similar type of weather, similar strength of field. You know, and we just saw it a couple weeks ago. So then who's best historically at TPC Southwind? Hideki Matsuyama, Scotty, Akshay Bhatia, JJ Spahn, Sam Burns, Tommy Fleetwood, Patrick Cantlay, Colin Morikawa, Jacob Bridgman, Adam Scott. Now, if you've been paying attention and writing this down, you've already got Scotty, Tommy Fleetwood, Cantlay, Morikawa. These names are starting to show up again. Repeated names. Right? And then Muirfield Village. I mean, this course is really the rough and how it penalized you there at Muirfield Village. It's a long golf course. It's driver heavy. But if you miss there, you're going to pay. Similar to here at East Lake. If you miss, you're going to pay. So, names that have done historically well there. Well, Scheffler, Alex Fitzpatrick, Christopher Rayton. I think this is his first time playing this event, if I heard that. I thought I heard that on the Golf Channel. Morikawa, Ryan Gerard, Patrick Cantlay, Tommy Fleetwood, Rory McIlroy, Sam Burns, Xander Schauffele. Again, similar names are starting to show up again. Scotty, Patrick Cantlay, Tommy Fleetwood, fucking Morikawa, Rory, Sam Burns, Xander. They just keep showing up. And then the third course, Caves Valley, where now there's really only 2 tournaments we have to look at, 2021 and 2025 BMW Championships. So a little bit of a smaller sample size, so to speak, but the data is still somewhat useful. So historically, the best there, Bobby McIntyre, Tommy Fleetwood, Sam Burns, Scheffler again, Ludwig, Rory, Cantlay, Cam Young, Hovland, Matt Fitzpatrick. So by this point, you can see certain guys are just starting to separate from the field. It's only 30 of them, but you're already seeing a handful that are starting to, just on paper, create separation. And then we said we're going to look at recent form, last 24 rounds, total strokes gained against the field, right? So I guess we'll start looking backwards and, who's been playing well of late in the last 24 rounds. Total strokes gained last 24 rounds. Here we go. Scheffler, Matsuyama, Wyndham Clark, Sam Burns, Matt Fitzpatrick, Goddard, Morikawa, Tom Kim, Cantlay, Hovland. Keep checking boxes. Now we could have went back 50 rounds, 75 rounds, but really 24, I feel it's like a good sample size because it's recent. It's not just one hot week and somebody got lucky and putted well that week. And so you're really looking at 24 rounds, 6 tournaments. And it's a pretty decent snapshot, but it's a little bit more recent than 50 or 75 rounds. So, and we said strokes gained off the tee. That's one of the biggest pieces of this course. So best strokes gained off the tee over their last 24 rounds: Rory, Goddard, Scotty, Cam Young, Ryan Gerard, Xander Schauffele, Hideki Matsuyama, Colin Morikawa, Christopher Rayton, Gary Woodland, I'm like a fucking broken record with these guys. It's the same repeating names. Everyone that list is long. The strokes gained off the tee tells me the last 24 rounds, these guys are really driving the ball well. It's not just can you bomb it 300, 350, 375, whatever. It's right. It's you can hit it well, right? It's again, it's not just who can go long, but it's the driving accuracy. And then the last 24 rounds of driving accuracy. Again, the rough here is going to matter. It's why you want to be accurate. So who's actually hitting fairways on the drives last 24 rounds? Hideki, Russell Henley, Siwoo Kim, Matt Fitzpatrick, Gary Woodland, Colin Morikawa, Tom Kim, Victor Hovland, Jacob Bridgman, Patrick Cantlay. Now, Cantlay, on the list we just rapid fire went through, I mean, he's really starting to jump off your sheet, right? I mean, he's shown up East Lake Profile, TPC Southwind, Muirfield Village, Caves Valley, his recent form, and now we got driving accuracy. That's pretty damn good for Patrick Cantlay. Maybe explains why he's on a little bit of a heater here. What did I say? He gained 13 strokes. Was it tee to green last week? Fucking unbelievable. Strokes gained approach play last 24 rounds. And here's where the iron play is going to come in. So we already established that this is probably the most important part of handicapping this whole tournament. Best strokes gained on their approach play last 24 rounds. Sam Burns, Patrick Cantlay, Scotty Scheffler, Tom Kim, Colin Morikawa, Siwoo Kim, Victor Hovland, Hideki Matsuyama, Matt Fitzpatrick, Justin Rose. There's the overlap. Cantlay, Scotty, Morikawa, Hovland, Hideki, Burns, Matt Fitzpatrick. Yeah, these guys are they're just stacking up checks. And then you look at Bermuda putting and then the greens. And we said the recent winners, they had to putt well during the week. They weren't like 28th out of 30. Yo, you're like 25th, 22nd out of 30. Forget it. You ain't winning this thing. Now, the one thing, though, guys who won here recently in the past, they had to do well putting. But the catch is, when I looked at this stuff, is not all of them necessarily entered this week like overall elite putters are on fire putting. So then what I did is I looked at, okay, well, historically, who does well on Bermuda? So in this field, your best Bermuda putters, Akshay Bhatia, Wyndham Clark, Jacob Bridgman, Scotty Scheffler, Chris Gotterup, Victor Hovland, Bobby McIntyre, Russell Henley, Ludwig, Sam Burns. Now, names that should jump off the page if you're in this field and if you're looking at these same stats is, well, who? I mean, Wyndham Clark, that's pretty scary, right? He's already hot, already winning, won 3 times this year, second in the field, putting on Bermuda. Scotty's 4th. That's fucking terrifying. Yo, when Scotty's putter's on, good luck. Right? So who checked the most boxes here? Right? We just kind of went through and we said we'll go through and put these check marks on these guys. So, we kind of just were checking these guys off and going through all this. So the names that checked multiple boxes here, and if I counted right, Scheffler, was it 6, 7 of those? I mean, checking these boxes. Scotty Scheffler. I think he had 6 or 7 check marks. Is anybody surprised, though? Guy had fucking hand, foot, and mouth disease last week and still finished 12th. Unbelievable. He's got the history at East Lake, his history at TPC Southwind, Muirfield Village, Caves Valley. I mean, his recent form all fucking season, Mr. Consistent. Good off the tee, good on his approach, good on Bermuda putting. Fucking Scheffler's everywhere. Right? second most checked boxes or whatever you want to call it. Patrick Cantlay. You surprised about that? I'm not. I mean, probably the most interesting golfer in this entire exercise that we just ran through here. The dude just keeps popping up. East Lake, TPC Southwind, Muirfield Village, Caves Valley. Dude's been on a fucking heater. Driving accuracy, approach. Second place finish last week. Kind of his kryptonite, I guess, is kind of his putting. Yeah, if his putter shows up this week, look out. Cantlay's gonna fucking, he might just run away with this thing. I don't think so, but his putter shows up, he'll be right there on Sunday afternoon. Another guy who checked a bunch of boxes, 4, 5, I don't know, I'm fucking losing count. Victor Hovland. Fits the course, his course history here, fits that, checks that box, checks the box for Caves Valley, checks the recent form box, checks the driving accuracy box, checks the approach box, the Bermuda putting, won here in 2023. So we know the ceiling with Hovland. Another with Sam Burns. What did he check? 5 boxes? 5 marks for Sam? Here we go again. TPC Southwind, Muirfield Village, Caves Valley. Historically done well there. That should. Again, I always say this. These comparable courses I like because, to me, if a player does well at a course that's similar, or maybe the similar greens or similar fairways or whatever the case may be, to me those skills travel. And if a guy does well on, say, it's a Donald Ross course, and a guy just lights up Donald Ross courses, that means more to me than maybe another category. Or just maybe even just like there's some crazy number. I forget. I heard some crazy number like Scheffler on like par 70s is just like fucking money. His numbers are just off the fucking charts on par 70s. So something like that, to me, that carries more weight than if you just got hot putting. But again, everybody handicaps things different or looks at stuff differently. But I don't know. I was just similar courses, similar skill set, right? So you have to have a certain skill set to attack similar courses, and to me, that just travels well. Fucking Colin Morikawa. If you listen to any one of these golf shows, you know my love-hate relationship with Colin Morikawa. I want the kid to win more than anything, but I'm just on the wrong side with Morikawa. Every time I bet the fucking guy, he shits the bed so bad. When I don't bet him, he does well. That's why I said when we started this thing, Colin Morikawa should give me some of his winnings from last week. What is he, top 4? Well, I didn't bet him. Week before I bet him, he shit the bed. Last week, don't even take a flyer on a guy for a placement finish. Didn't even have him in a parlay with anything. Plays lights out golf. Now, even though I seem to be bad juju and seem to be like the ultimate mush when I take Morikawa, I'm still pretty tempted to take him this week. The streak's got to end sooner or later. I got to cash one of these fucking things, even if it's a placement finish with Morikawa. But again, I mean, he's got great iron play. He checks the boxes on these like TPC Southwind and Caves Valley. Right, recent form, driving accuracy's there. He's 5th in strokes gained on his approach play over his last 24 rounds. Now, one caveat here is, can he putt on Bermuda? That's why I'm kind of struggling to say if he makes my card in some way, shape, or form. I don't think I'm going to take him. Well, I don't think I'm going to take him as an outright. I think I'm going to take him as a placement finish if I end up taking him. But again, the question is the Bermuda putting. Hideki, he checked 3, 4 boxes. Like the driving accuracy checks that box. top 10 recent form. I'm sorry, he's near the top in recent form. His last 24 rounds coming into this week. He's top 10 in approach. He has the TPC Southwind course history checkbox. A pretty complete profile for Hideki. And then some other, I guess, notable or honorable mentions. Matt Fitzpatrick, Rory, Tommy Fleetwood. I mean, obviously, Rory, Fleetwood. I mean, do we even need to go through? It's just like Scheffler. Do we even need to go through an exercise, see if they check a box? Of course, they check a box. But again, not a Rory fan. I don't bet Rory, but I don't know. If I didn't have that bias, I don't know if I could bet Rory, though, just because of he hasn't played much this year, and you see certain events. You saw it at Memphis. He just struggled. Now, last week he got it together, but I don't know. I feel like betting Rory fits, but I don't know. I just haven't seen enough from him this year. But again, it's you do what you want with Rory. Some other names that more honorable mention: Tom Kim, Wyndham Clark, Henley, Cam Young. Didn't check as many boxes, but like Xander, for example. I mean, the dude, his East Lake history is just undeniable. It's ridiculous. And then when you look at Wyndham, well, he's just won. He won 3 times already on tour. Listen, Russell Henley is one of the most accurate drivers on the whole fucking tour. Some other names: Siwoo, Akshay, Bobby Mack, Goddard, Gary Woodland. Trying to see what else here. Now, some guys that we didn't mention because they didn't check a single box in the categories that I used to handicap this tournament. J.J. Spahn, Adam Scott, Alex Fitzpatrick, Justin Rose, Minwoo Lee, Ryan Fox. But Adam Scott, course history. He has the course history. And then you look at someone like Alex Fitzpatrick. I mean, he leads total driving. I don't know. But again, they didn't check any of the boxes that we had laid out in those certain categories. So it's not really saying, well, you pick those guys, it's a death sentence, your ticket's already up in flames. It was just kind of saying, like, of the categories that I pulled out, they didn't just really, either check the box or overlap as much as some of the others. So who really kind of stands out and jumps off the page? Pretty simple. Scheffler, Cantlay, Hovland, Burns, Morikawa. That's fucking just Hideki. And then right behind them, though, again, Rory, Tommy Fleetwood, Xander, Wyndham, Russell Henley, Tom Kim. I don't know. Again, I said it. The most interesting name, I guess, the value out of doing this breakdown is Cantlay. I mean, everybody knows Scotty. Everybody knows Rory loves East Lake. Won 3 times here. Wyndham, 3 wins this year. Hot favorite coming in, just won last week, especially the way he played on Sunday. But Cantlay, I mean, everything we just went through, he shows up pretty much in every category. Now, again, we said if he can find, if his putter, if he can find that for 4 rounds, he might be lights out. Everything else, though, it's pretty much the best form that we've seen Patrick Cantlay play in a while. Plays slow as fuck, but his game right now is he's like in a fucking zone. And again, I guess that's really the whole point of when I do this, to kind of go through for myself and then give it to you guys, is just all right, going through an exercise and see what kind of shit I can pull out and pull out of the data. So we went through the course, weather, the profiles, all that shit. We went through this whole box exercise. So, all right. So, I guess where are the leans at, or what? Who do I have my eye on that is going to make the card here? So, I can tell you one thing I like is, no matter how we broke this down, you're getting the same types of players here. Even if I even looked at or listened to other podcasts and see what others are, I don't know. I always like to see if there's all these different, places to get data and information from. So you always want to check it and see against like a professional golf handicapper, so to speak. And is your data good or is it complete shit? So I kind of looked to see, well, how do I measure up with the normal golf handicapper, these guys who do this day in and day out, or but their data and who fits their particular model, it's all kind of similar. It's not shocking though when you only have 30 guys compared to 140, 150, 160, whatever you get on a normal PGA event. So when you get that smaller field, of course, it's the same, the strokes gained off the tee, strokes gained on approach, good drive percentage, birdie to bogey ratio, right? No matter where people get their data from, those should all kind of line up. But then it's just some people, when they handicap, they value a certain category more than others. It's still on their sheet, but they're like, if I had a tiebreaker, why value this more than this? Okay, well, but again, they kind of all seem to be pulling the same guys or similar guys, right? But the common themes that I pulled from all this when I kind of went up against to see what are professional golf handicappers looking at. The common themes are driving, ball striking, long iron scoring. How you doing with your long irons? How you playing? How you scoring on par fours? Bermuda putting. So that's pretty much everything that I kind of went through here with you guys to say, here's the names that overlap. So the names that I guess made the final cut list and are vying for a spot on my card, I'll start with Sam Burns. Thought Sam Burns would have got it done last week. He didn't. Kind of struggled last week, but I think it's like what, plus 1,900 outright, depending on what book you're using. I mean, Sam Burns' iron play has just been elite. He's one of the best approach players in this field this week. Number one strokes gained on his approach play the last 24 rounds. Now we add in his putter. He's been one of the best putters on tour for years. I think I saw another handicapper had him in like the 99th percentile in strokes gained putting, and then like 95th percentile in strokes gained on his approach play. His wedge game's fucking ridiculous. Sam Burns is the 99th percentile from 100 to 150 yards, and we said that was one of the from the proximity buckets. It was like 18 or 19% of the shots come from that yardage, and then the 200, what was it, 200 to 250 bucket. So like a third of the approach shots from Eastlake are going to come from that 100 to 150 yard mark, and Burns is just absolutely killing it. And that 100 to 150 yards. Good course history here. He has a tie for 7, tie for 13, tie for 4th. And that's without starting strokes. Driving accuracy, that's a concern. I don't. I'm not as bullish as I was the past few weeks on Sam Burns as an outright top 5. I think yeah. Top 10. I think yeah. Right now, tonight, to me that makes more sense than forcing an outright for Burns. I could wake up tomorrow and fire off Sam Burns for an outright. I don't know, but right now, if I had to place my final card now and tee times were in a half hour, Burns would be like more like a top 5, top 10. But I think he definitely fits. I think I saw top 5 at like plus 335. I think it was DraftKings I wrote down here. Top 10 was plus 110. Morikawa, this is a love-hate relationship I have with Colin Morikawa. But realistically, when we went through player profile and stats, he really might be the purest East Lake profile outside of like the obvious favorites like Scheffler and Cantlay and shit, right? So I think I saw him like plus 2100, another like so he's like 20 to 1. And then top 5 is like plus 350 last I looked. I mean, accuracy, iron play, it's really what we've been talking about all night. He tied for 4th last week at Belle Reve, gained nearly 6 strokes ball striking. He's finished tied for 7th or better in 7 of his last 13 starts. And we said it, the rough is so fucking penal here. You'll absolutely get hammered if you miss the fairway and you're in the rough. So, Morikawa really, he gives himself a little bit cleaner approaches than most of this field. And we have the evidence to back it up. The raw 72-hole score here in 2024, he had the lowest raw 72-hole score here in 2024. Now, we said everybody starts even this week. That's pretty scary. If he had the lowest raw 72-hole score here in 2024, like I said, when we backed out those strokes they started with. Now, putting, that's the thing. If his putter is just stuck in neutral, he could absolutely win this. Russell Henley. The more you look, the more this fit makes sense with Russell Henley. He's 30 to 1 for an outright. Top 10 plus 160. You might say, well, right, why the fuck we talk about Russell Henley? The accuracy, irons, short and long, Bermuda putting. He's one of the most consistent tour players. Course history, top 5 each of the last 2 years here. Local guy, the whole Georgia angle. He went to Georgia. He still lives in the state. It's a home game for Russell Henley. I don't think he wants to go out there and win. This is the type of guy that can just get overlooked in when you're looking at all these other superstars. But Russell Henley checks damn near every box. Bobby McIntyre. Saw him like 50 to 1. Now, doesn't mean just fire off a bet, but don't ignore Bobby McIntyre. I mean, look how well he played last week to play his way into East Lake. Also showed up on that. We talked about similar courses, Caves Valley. His name showed up on that list. His name showed up on the Bermuda putting list. 50 to 1 in a 30-man field. Gets my attention, I can tell you that. But this is exactly why I want to wait until, tomorrow. It's just, it can either become value or it could be just complete bullshit in the morning. Depend on where the rest of the market settles. And I was going to talk about Patrick Cantlay. I mean, I mean, look, 16-1 is an outright top 5, almost 3-1. The dude checked literally. What do we have? 7, 8 categories. I don't know. We check 5, 6 of those boxes in this. What do you call it? Player fit exercise. Just finished second last week. He gained 13 strokes tee to green last week. Dude's on a fucking heater. In 5 strokes on his approach play in each of his last 3 events. Dude, it's just ridiculously good ball striking for Patty Cantlay. He's won here before. Great playoff history. Great East Lake history. And again, we said it. The only thing that scares me with Cantlay is the putter. His putter remotely starts to heat up. Look out. He can win this whole thing. And Schauffele, can't leave him out. Look, this is like his fucking playground. When you look at his historical record here. I mean, 16-1. Some are like 12-1. But you get it like 15, 16-1, that's some value. Like, again, his history here is ridiculous. He's basically lived in the top 5 at East Lake. So, again, a down year for Schauffele. Kind of been disappointed this year with Schauffele. I don't know. Kind of just forget all about that shit when we come in here. Again, maybe he's a first-round leader. I think I saw like 16-1 first-round leader for Schauffele. He's also finished inside the top 7 in each of his 8 career East Lake appearances. Won it in 2017 as that debutante. He was a first-round leader here in 2019. 2 top 7 finishes in his last 3 starts. You can see why he made the final cut. Now, Sam Burns, I said I'm not as bullish on Burns for the outright, but Sam Burns, maybe first-round leader action, 18-1. Again, elite putter, elite approach play from that 150 to 100 to 150, that proximity bucket or that range. What is he? What did I say? He's a 95th or 99th percentile? If he comes out hot Thursday, he can post a low number and then everybody's chasing him. Now, long shot is Tom Kim. Kind of interesting. I think he's like 55-1. Tom Kim hits his irons, can make Bermuda putts, but he's been one of the strongest approach players, or this longer, I guess, recent sample size or recency bias. He's gained almost a stroke per round on his approach play over the past 6 months. Here's a sneaky part about Tom Kim. Over the past 12 months, Bermuda is the only surface where he's gained putting. Isn't that fucking crazy? Past year, the only surface that Tom Kim has gained strokes putting is on Bermuda. He's almost gained three quarters of a stroke per round. I mean, he's also 5th in weighted strokes gained over those last 24 rounds. 55-1 definitely has my attention. Siwoo Kim, we said it. He's been knocking on the door all year. Maybe not for an outright, but maybe a placement market for him. Maybe top 10 at like plus 150-ish, depending on what book you're using. 11 top 10s for Siwoo Kim this season. Accurate as fuck off the tee. Strong iron game. Look, he only needs to beat 20 guys for a top 10. Again, this is where it gets interesting. He's only got 30 guys in this field. Now, historically, though, Siwoo Kim really hasn't done shit here. But again, when you look at when he played here in the past at East Lake compared to his game now, he's like a night and day difference of a player. going into this week. One thing I looked at, I like playing matchups too. And one of these that kind of stood out is Fleetwood and Ludwig as a matchup play. Tommy Fleetwood minus 115 over Ludwig. Look, the question with Ludwig is finishing. He has an upside, and there's no question about his game. Ridiculous with his driver. His comparable or similar courses, the stuff is good. But, I don't know. It's Ludwig, right? He's had some good finishes. He's also had some fucking duds. But really, when you look at Ludwig, what's dragging him down is his approach play and his putting, which are two fucking areas that we just went through all night that matter here. So Fleetwood at minus 115, that's definitely worth shopping and taking a look at. Again, not saying Ludwig sucks, but look, we all know the history with Ludwig. It's just, to me, when I look at Ludwig, he's either really good or he's really bad. There's just no in between. I think eventually he'll get it done, but I don't think it's going to be this year. See what I'm trying to see what else I have here. So again, names that are on this final list to put a card together with placements and outrights and first round leaders. Obviously, Patrick Cantlay. I got Morikawa on there with a big fucking question mark because, again, it's putting. Obviously, Sam Burns. Like I said, I'm not as bullish on Burns as I was in the past couple weeks for outright, but maybe first round leader or definitely a placement finish. Russell Henley, I mean, we already made his case. Xander, Tom Kim, Siwoo, Bobby Mack. And look, this Scheffler number is too short, but obviously Scheffler. Now, again, Scheffler struggles. Might be a good time to get in on it. He starts off kind of slow. If he's got some other fucking ailment that the PGA Tour ain't going to disclose, maybe he's, I don't know, got fucking turf toe this week. I don't fucking know. They got to disclose these fucking injuries, though. The PGA Tour needs a fucking injury report. Can we get one of those, please? Fuck. But, like I said, Xander, Burns, first round leader, maybe. I don't know. But tomorrow morning, we're going to go through, look at the market prices. Did the market adjust? Is it any value, or is it just bullshit and smoke and mirrors? Weather, right? Look at the latest weather. It's going to matter. Any line moves, matchups. And then we'll put it through like the fucking flux capacitor, whatever the fuck we do, and spit it out. And Mookie and Nash give it a rundown and give their thumbs up or paws up, and we'll post it. So that's pretty much the final PGA Tour event, Tour Championship from East Lake. The board, not the card yet, but we kind of made a case, and we pretty much built the blueprint for you guys to use all weekend. Live betting. There's only 30 guys. Gave you the profile, winning trends, proximity buckets that matter, the course history here. And you see these multiple boxes. It makes it a little bit easier as we get these smaller fields to have placements cash, first round leaders cash, outrights cash. But again, the guys who check the multiple boxes, the course history, similar courses, historically do well here. Somebody coming in who's never played here or isn't coming in good form recently, the past 24 rounds, probably going to struggle. But if they're struggling recently, they're probably not here anyway. So again, it's really any one of these 30 guys can win it, except for Rory or Justin Rose. I was high on Justin Rose earlier in the season, and then he just kind of pissed me off and shit the bed on some events that I had him for placements, and so fuck him. But anybody really could win this thing. It's 30 guys. But We'll take this board, we'll turn it into bets tomorrow morning, and whatever survives the number shopping process, the flux capacitor shit, well, that's what makes the card. So that's it. That's all I got. That is it's the last one, last big one. That's Eastlake in a nutshell. So look, if tonight's show gave you a reason to think a little bit differently here, maybe helped you understand Eastlake a little bit better, break down some of these numbers and fucking data, find an edge before the final tournament of the I can't believe there's a final tournament of the PGA Tour. This is just unbelievable. It feels like just a few fucking it just seems like a few weeks ago. We were sitting here with Evan Grube from Grube Golf and Woodstone Country Club, and we were breaking down fucking the Masters. And now we're sitting here, and it's the final fucking PGA Tour event of the season. But hey, if we helped you find an edge, maybe you laughed, maybe helped you understand Eastlake a little bit better, well, that's what it's all about here at Off the Hook Sports and with Tee to Green. Love to have you along for the ride. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on X at OTH Sports Pod. Every subscription, every follow, every share, it all helps us keep growing this thing the right way. Helps us continue to build this sports betting community the right way. No paywalls, no VIP packages, no subscription fees, no pay-to-play picks. Look, just sports talks and betting insight and a community of people trying to get a little bit better every day. Come for the bet, stay for the hang, and remember, go get that Pickett app. If you're not using it, what are you doing? Google Play Store, App Store, download Pickett, and come have some fun with us on Pickett. Put in code OTH, you can set up your Pickett account. Final card will be on Pickett and on X tomorrow. We'll look at the markets, see who actually makes the cut here, and post the final Tour Championship card in the morning before that first tee shot goes flying in the air at Eastlake. At OTH Sports Pod is where you'll find it. Pickett is at Off the Hook. And of course, we do track every bet on Pickett. Track your friends, your bets, line movements, all with Pickett, all in one place. And listen, this is the last PGA Tour event of the season. Unfortunately, golf is winding down, but that means football is starting up. So while golf is getting ready to shut down, football is going to take over. And fourth and goal, all those, we have one more division preview, the NFC South next week, and a college football preview that will be up tomorrow. Look, you guys know, calendars and clocks, not our strong point around here, but we get you the information. So the college football season preview will be up tomorrow between doing a live show and the golf shit. We'll get it up. So football will be taking over around here. Fourth and goal will be replacing Tee to Green on Wednesdays. So that'll be the in-depth college football and NFL show on Wednesdays, replacing Tee to Green as golf sunsets for the year until the Masters. Well, until like January-ish, but really the Masters. So fourth and goal, the weekly show will be matchups, trends, betting angles, whatever other football chaos we got all week long. I'm Tommy Trends. As always, Mookie and Nash are staring me down saying, why the fuck you still talk about Bermuda Rough instead of taking me for a walk? Well, it's walkie time. It's Off the Hook, sports talk that pays off. And look, remember, the books don't give refunds. Remember, do your homework, shop the lines with Pickett, and never stop looking for an edge. And we're back here tomorrow sometime to go over the opening round of the Tour Championship from Eastlake. In the meantime, let's cook the books, cash some tickets. College football preview show will be up tomorrow on YouTube at OTH Sports Pod. And boys are waiting for a walk. So tomorrow morning, card drops on X and on Pickett at OTH Sports Pod. 30 guys, 1 cup. Good luck in your bets. And we're back here again tomorrow afternoonish, and we'll go through the opening round from Eastlake at the Tour Championship. So good luck. Good night. See you guys tomorrow.